Last time on what everyone should know about Abraham.
This is the first thing that we learned from Ibrahim alayhi salam. People like to follow the majority. People like to stay comfortable by doing what everybody else is doing. But Ibrahim alayhi salam is a young man who knows, I'm not going to do what everybody else does. I'm going to do what I think is right. But I'm going to use my mind to get there. So let's figure out how he does this. I'm going to read something to you from the Quran about, this is by the way, young Ibrahim. I told you two kinds of Ibrahim, right? Young Ibrahim and old Ibrahim.
With stars above, the sun and the moon, a boy asked questions and searched for the truth. He smashed their lies, so into the blaze they threw, but to their surprise, the fire stayed cool. He sacrificed a ram, submitting to God's rule, and built with his son a legacy renewed. What everyone should know about Abraham alayhi salam.
I told you two kinds of Ibrahim, right? Young Ibrahim and old Ibrahim. So this is the beginning of young Ibrahim. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ. When Ibrahim alayhi salam said to his father, Azar. So Ibrahim's father, Azar, by the way, now he's a kid talking to his dad. Who has more knowledge, a kid or a dad? A dad does, right? The adult is the dad, the child is the kid. And the kid is not telling his dad, he's going to ask his dad a question. He says, أَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. Do you take these statues and you basically consider them gods? Each of them, these statues? إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. From what I can tell, I actually see that you and your entire nation, you dad and everybody else in the country, everybody else in the village are all confused and lost. That's what I think. So the son is telling his dad that dad is confused and lost. And he asked him, he didn't say, Dad, you are wrong. He said, is that what you're doing? Are you taking these gods as statues? Now I want you to pay attention to something. He didn't, and I'll see if you can do this as an experiment with me. Who'd like to be part of this experiment? Come up here. I'm going to pretend to be the son. You have to pretend to be the father. Who's going to do it? No, I'm going to be the son. I need a pretend father. You want to pretend father? Come on. Come up here. What's your name? Ayan, come on. Give Ayan this mic. Ayan, I'm going to pretend to be a son who doesn't like to pray. Like salah.
Yeah.
Okay? And you have to tell me to pray. But you have to tell me to pray without saying the words pray. Or you have to pray. You have to find some other way to get me to pray. Okay. So you can start. Or I can, Dad, I don't want to pray.
But everyone else is doing it. What's right?
I don't care about everybody else. I'm an individual person with my own feelings.
But it's a collect thing, and you have to
Did you say you have to? I don't have to anything. What do you mean I have to?
You have to listen to it.
I have to listen to you? But why? Because what?
It's collect and everyone else is doing it.
Because everyone else is doing it. So if everybody else was drinking poison, should I drink poison with everybody else? Because I would have a lisp, obviously. Yeah. Huh? So why should I listen to everybody else?
Because it's correct.
Why is it correct?
Because you're supposed to listen to your dad.
Because you're supposed to listen to your dad? I'm not gonna. You tried. I'm a difficult son, I know. What was I doing other than being difficult? How was I communicating? What did I keep repeating? I kept asking questions. What were some of my questions? Why? Why do I have to? Right? I kept saying why? Was he asking questions or was I asking questions? I was asking questions. Okay, somebody else pretend to be my dad, but this time, you have to be the one asking questions. You're still the dad, I'm still trying not to pray, but you have to keep putting questions on me instead of me putting questions on you. You understand? So don't tell me to pray, ask me questions. What kind of questions are you going to ask me? You got to figure this out yourselves. Let's see. You want to try it? Come on. Ayan raised your hand. What's your name? Hassan, come on. I don't want to pray, Dad.
You're going to go to Jahannam?
No.
Then pray.
Okay. Okay, fine. When you ask someone a question, then you are forcing them to give not just their answer, but their reasons. They have to explain themselves. In my first pretend dad, I kept making him give answers. Right? So he's always trying to come up with an answer. But because, and eventually he gets frustrated. He says, because I said so, I'm your dad. Okay? You better do it because I'm your dad. But when Ahsan asked a question, it was a tough question. You want to go Jahannam? Then now who has to come up with an answer? I do. Now I could have asked him tougher questions, but I don't even believe in Jahannam. I could have said that. And then he would have been like, then what would your question be if I said, I don't even believe in Jahannam? What would your question be?
Where would you go after you die?
Oh, then you would ask another question. Where do you think you're going to go after I die? Right? I'd say, I don't know, worms. It's tough, I know. But what do the questions do? If he keeps asking questions, he's going to force me to think more and more, isn't he? Because when you ask someone questions, you're forcing them to what? To think. But if you just tell someone to do something, you didn't make them think anything. A lot of times our kids, I'm talking to the parents for a second, a lot of times our kids are like, I don't feel like praying. Why do I have to pray? Like all the time, I already did it like 2 days ago. You're going to pray because I said so. You start with Allah said so. Then you're like, Jahannam. Then you're like, oh, you're not afraid of Jahannam? You don't need to worry about Jahannam. I'll give you a preview right now. Right? But if you did that, if instead of asking questions, if you just said, you better pray because I told you to pray, did you actually make the child think? No, you didn't make them think. Ibrahim alayhi salam is not trying to convert his father. Ibrahim alayhi salam is trying to make his dad what? Think. And the best way to get someone to think is to ask them questions. A couple of weeks ago, it was Easter holiday. It was Easter. And I decided to go to a church on Easter. Yeah, I went to a church, I heard the whole session, the singing, the whole thing. And there were some church volunteers and youth ministers that I sat and talked with. They don't know who I am. So I was like, yeah, I'm having some trouble with some of the things that I learned in the church. I didn't say, you're wrong, the Trinity's wrong. None of that. I'm just having some trouble, and I have some questions. And then I ask a question, and they give an answer. And that answer makes me ask another question. Then they give an answer. Then that answer makes me ask another question. And then another question. And then another question. And then they got frustrated. And then they're like, you're really smart. I was like, no, I just watch YouTube videos. And I said, then what about Islam? I was like, yeah, I can answer those, but that still doesn't answer my question. I still have my question. Because if you learn to ask questions, you are forcing someone to actually use their brain. And then he didn't even say, you're wrong, Dad. He said, are you taking these statues as gods? Which means the dad has to explain why. And then he's also saying, I think you're confused. He doesn't say you're confused. He said, I think. So he's talking about himself. He's not talking about his dad. He's just talking about what I think. He's saying that, from what I can tell, this looks like confusing behavior with everybody. So if you want to help me out, just answer my questions. You could just do that, and then maybe I'm wrong. Right? So he's putting it in the form of questions. You have to learn to put things in the form of questions. You have to think about things in the form of questions. So when everyone's doing something, this happens in many homes. Hey, I want to get these shoes. No, you can't get those shoes. Why not? Well, why do you want those shoes? Everybody's getting them. Everybody got them. My friend got them. My enemy got them. My frenemy got them. I didn't get them. But what was your reason for wanting the shoes? But everybody's not a reason. Remember, when you say the majority makes normal, then basically then you're like a sheep. You know what a sheep does? The sheep, when one sheep goes this way, the second and the third sheep also go that way, and then the fourth and the fifth, and 100 sheep are going in the same direction. And if one sheep falls off a cliff, guess what happens to the other sheep? They all, meh, halal, meh, haram. Like, they all fall off a cliff. Why? Because they just follow. So when you say, I want something, and your mom or your dad says, why? Well, because I think it's a really well-manufactured shoe in a factory in China. And I like paying 5 times the price because it has a label on it. Now you give good reason. Well, you say, everybody's wearing it. That's not a reason, is it? Because Ibrahim alayhi salam could have followed the religion of everybody else, and if somebody said, why are you following it? What would his answer be? If he was following it, what would his answer be? Everyone does it. When you use everyone does it as an answer, then you're not like Ibrahim alayhi salam, you're like everyone else. We are the followers of Ibrahim alayhi salam. His choices, I told you yesterday, his choices affect our choices. His way of thinking needs to become our way of thinking. So we don't think like the majority. We don't do something because everybody does something. We do something because we ask questions and we find the answers. You with me? Okay, this is a really important piece of this. You have your hand up, young man. Tell me, what's on your mind?
I think you're wrong with the, I don't know if you're wrong with the other gods, because I think there's no other God.
I like you. I am wrong about the other gods. You're right, there is no other God. La ilaha illallah. Very good. So he asked this question to his father, and then he says this. He wants to show the entire society why they're wrong. So he put on a show. Ibrahim alayhi salam put on a show. Here's what he did. He says, Allah tells us, He says, كَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ. And that is how we showed Ibrahim alayhi salam the kingdom of all the skies and all the earth. It's one kingdom. It's not lots of kingdoms. It's one kingdom of all the skies and all the earth. What did the other people religion believe? The sun is a different kingdom. The moon is a different kingdom. The rain is a different kingdom. The winds are a different kingdom. Allah said, we showed Ibrahim alayhi salam that the entire universe and beyond is all what? One kingdom, one king, one ruler. That's what Allah showed him. And he was convinced this is the only way this makes sense is if there's only one king. Otherwise, they're at war with each other. The sun and the moon would start their own intergalactic war, and they both would be destroyed. Something would happen. Something would go wrong. But everything is working in harmony. That means there's one ruler above all of them that keeps them all in check, controls all of them at the same time. You understand? Now he wants to show his entire village how wrong they are. So he goes out there and he puts on a show. And here's the show. فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ رَأَى كَوْكَبًا. When the night came, he saw one of the biggest, shiniest stars, planet. The Jupiter looks like a star sometimes. He saw that and he said, قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. He said, oh, this is my God. This is my master. Does he believe that that's God? No. Who is he trying to show? People. And people believe that. The people around him believe that. So he says, this is my Rabb. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَا أُحِبُّ الْعَافِلِينَ. And when it disappeared, when the star disappeared, he said, I don't love things that disappear. I can't love that stuff. That I'm not impressed because